Alrighty. Welcome, everyone. This is Reverend Greg Kehn. We're broadcasting from Lady Lake, Florida. Today, here, I know not all of you guys are in the warmer weather, but we had 86 degrees and it was quite nice. So I've been looking forward to the summer at Lilydale. And we do have on the website as well as on the computer here, we have the information for the hotel and the Lilydale opening, and all those things are lined up. Lilydale is going to be a busy season. They're opening up full scale. And Leslie's been putting it all on the internet here. So we got it out there for us so we can look at it anytime we want to. Well, let me open with a prayer. Dear God, in all love and understanding, and as we are blessed tonight by thy presence, thy guidance, thy light, and thy love, as we ask the presence of our guardian angels to work with us with healing, bringing harmony, bringing calmness. May we be the healing energy for the world around us and the people we're in contact with. May we bring that balance and harmony. We're coming into spring. We're going to have all these things going on, and I really feel it's a very good spring and a very good summer. I know a lot of people are in some areas where there's still some hot spots with the COVID, but I know there's lots of areas opening up more and more now. And I really feel that in many ways we're over the hump and it's going to start changing in a really good way. So I think there's a lot of people out there that are going to get out of the cabin fever and be able to go and do a few things that they normally wouldn't have or couldn't have. And I think it's wonderful that we get on track with that. One of the things I've noticed with the healing energy with people, we have so many things going on around us that everyone's looking at the news. And sad to say, I've looked at the news a few times. I don't look at it all the time every day, but you look at the news and you see some of the negativities that are going on there. And I look at it as something that we have to step aside and realize where we're putting our time, our energy, our love, and our emotions. In what direction are we putting out the energy, or are we falling in line with the negativity that's being projected? There's a lot of negativity being projected, and I feel sad to say there's a lot of negativity that's rerun and rerun and rerun that's not needed and not necessary, and we need to be very aware that we have the ability to have the beacon of light and bring that harmony to us as well as others. You know, excuse me. I find going to a restaurant or a store or something, I see people and I can feel the pain and I can feel the emotions. And sometimes really negative energies there. They're very down. And I know everyone has been in a sense contained for a long time now. But let's think of it as what we are as a beacon of light and what energy we can be sending out to be able to bring balance to our life and balance to everyone else involved. I really feel that the world is very much in need of that, not only through the pandemic, but now that we're going to be coming out of it. And I really believe we are coming out of it. And it's a wonderful energy that we'll be doing so. I think I'm pretty sure Saturday is the first day of spring. And Spirit kept saying to me, spring to summer, things are going to really change and be for the better. I really feel we're on our way to that. And to not hesitate in that positive thought. I feel really good. I mean, yes, I'm down here in the sunshine, and both of us, Leslie and I, are here and we're enjoying it. It's wonderful, to go out and go for a walk without having to plow through a bunch of snow. But it's been an interesting energy also to feel what's going on the planet and what's shifting in the United States and different areas of the world here. I know in Florida everything is up and running and they have everything open and going, but you have your restrictions of masks and different things like that. But it is a very good energy. And I hope everyone else is getting to experience that now and the changes are occurring for them too. So it's a wonderful thing to let that happen. And in our prayer and our healing, we can definitely manifest that occurring. I was taught as a child to work with healing. And we need to think about when we're seeing people, be it outside in the store, on the street, whatever it may be, we're needing to think about what energy are we putting out to bring the harmony. I've had a few people walk by me that wouldn't smile, very stone faced, and I would send them energy. And the one lady turned around and looked at me and didn't know what hit her. And I kept sending the energy and I just kept focusing the energy there. It's like I didn't give up on the energy, I just kept putting it out. And she turned and responded by looking at me and didn't know exactly what was going on, but it was wonderful to see her smile. And I want to say, let's practice that with the people, be it family, be it friendships, be it strangers. Let's practice what we can send out and how much energy we can send out. That'll make a huge difference for people. I think that's going to make a wonderful change and allow people to have the harmony they really want to have. I was thinking about it here today, and I was thinking about Lilydale, and I know the Healing Temple will be up and running, and the hotel's already going to be lined up here shortly to take bookings. There was a certain date and time they were opening the phones for that, so it's going to be a good season. And those of you that have been there or would come there, I hope you can make it this summer and enjoy the energy. I believe the healing energy on the grounds is fantastic. It's beyond people and what people think, say, or do. And the energy there is wonderful. I know a number of people that have been there for years, and the energy is just fantastic to feel just walking around. I had one question, was it? We have one question. Leslie's going to announce the question, and I'll answer what I'm getting. Raise your hand if everyone's hearing me and hearing Leslie. Okay, good, good. Yeah, I was thinking about that. We read that a little earlier. I was thinking about that, and I thought all of the things that are going on in the world around us, we get divided, and our emotions will get divided. And sometimes reading for someone, you can get really drawn into the energy they're in. And we need to realize as a medium, now, whether we're advanced in our mediumship or consider yourself a student in the mediumship, we need to practice the idea of that a little separation that we're getting from spirit what we're getting. We can give it to the person or persons that are involved, but not take it on. If we allow it to come to a point where it really is in us, we're carrying it too deeply. To be aware of it and tune to it and be able to share verbally and emotionally, that's fine. But when we take it on in a way that we carry within us, that can be really hard on our own energy. And how many of us had felt at times like after a reading, after a healing, we have energies then that linger. I was always told when I was a child that when I would work with someone and I do laying on of hands, now this applies to absentee healing, this applies to laying on of hands, even in prayer, we need to put it out. My grandmother used to say to me about prayer, and she would say, remember, when you pray, it's like mailing a letter. You have to put it in the mailbox. You can't take and keep rewriting PS on it, because if we do that, we're not mailing it. It's not going where it needs to go. And this is where, when we're thinking about someone or we're sending them energy or we're sending them healing, have a start point and an end point, that we don't allow ourselves to be drained over all that investment of energy, and not to allow ourselves to go through hanging on to it and carry it within us over a period of time. I've actually worked with some mediums at times that have carried the energy and they were just overwhelmed, and they reached a point that they couldn't hardly give a message to anyone. And they were just carrying all of the, let's say, sediment of everything they had been doing and the people they had been working with. And we're needing to be really aware of that, that we don't allow that to occur. I had a medium walk in Lilydale in my reading room, and she's well-known medium, very, very good medium. And she's sitting there and I'm reading for her. And she said to me when we were done, she goes, Greg, she goes, I've never been in a session where I didn't feel a lot of heaviness and garbage of all these other energies from people that had been there. And she said, I didn't feel anything besides you and I being here and we're focused on each other. And I said, well, I do a cleansing each time, not only for myself, but the room, because I believe people release things and let go of things. There's days I go through a quarter box of Kleenex, and it's like, they're releasing and healing. And we need to realize that is an energy, that's an actual substance. And to be able to know that we're doing the cleansing and releasing it, and this means thoughts also. If we're thinking about someone, we're worrying about someone, we have thoughts about their healing, we're needing to put it in a start and an ending of it. We start the prayer, have the energy there, and we end it, God bless them, and we let go of it. Because if we don't do that, we then carry that within us over a long span of time. And I've seen mediums that have actually been sick from what they carried. And that happens a lot. I see it happening all the time in the Dale. I see it as Inspiration Stump Forest Temple. I see mediums getting up and working that are volunteering, and some of them that actually are there registered. They carry a lot of energy that's really not needed, and it's not theirs. And it becomes very depleting to their own energy. And we just need to be very aware of doing that. And when I have a day that I feel an energy that's really heavy, I take time to separate myself from it first and then focus on the healing and the prayer for it. If you just dive into it and you're just focusing on that, the intensity of you focusing on that, it really becomes part of your energy. And we're needing to step aside a bit and not allow that energy to permeate us in that form. I've actually had it happen where I'd work with someone and I would take a moment before I worked with them just to do the cleansing in my mind and my thoughts, releasing it completely, and then focus on giving them a healing. And then when I focus on giving a healing, again, I start it, I focus on it, and when I feel the energy building, I let it build. But as soon as I feel the energy starting to deplete, when you start sensing the energy depleting, God bless them, and you let go of it and move on. You don't allow it to be a circumstance that you continually hang on there. I had a lady tell me one time, she said, oh my God, I'm exhausted after 2 readings. And I said to her, I said, now, I said, are you using your energy or are you using God's energy? Because it's like an endless battery with God, and there's a little battery with us. And we're needing to realize that we can be the channel and let that endless energy flow through us, but we're needing to get out of the way. We need to be very aware of stepping aside and allow God's energy to be the flow of energy. And we're actually healed and brought more energy by doing that. When we're exhausted after a reading or exhausted after a healing, it's because we were putting our energy into it. Now, not saying you don't have thoughts of love and support and healing and caring. That's all there, and that's wonderful. And that's certainly normal. And that's something I do all the time. But I also keep that energy aware that when I feel the energy dropping, I step aside from it and let go of it. And when I let go of it, it's a blessing. We're done. Whatever we've could have done, should have done, could have done, we've done it. It's over. And you let go of and move on. And I feel, when we get emotionally attached, be it a family member, a child, something going on around us, it's like we're needing to be very aware there of keeping that clarity. Because if we leave the link open, and I've had it happen with a child one time, quite a few years ago, I was working with a child and I had sent them healing during the day. And then that night, I was in a relaxed state and I was focusing on them when I went to bed and went to sleep. I was focusing on the healing energy for them. And I realized when I woke up in the morning, I was carrying some energy that I had felt with that child. And I meditated and made sure I cleaned myself out and made sure we cleared that energy. Because if we leave that link open, what happens is their need of energy or reaching out to pull in energy, we left the door open, the switch is on, and they pull energy. Well, then it's depleting us and it's not really helping them at all. I'll give you an example of being at a situation of someone on their deathbed. My father, when he passed away, I was at the hospital. I was standing there with him. We're having coffee, and my mother came to him, which had been in spirit. He died in 93, she died in 85. And she came to him, and he was reaching out for her and saying, Jesse, don't leave me. And I was there, and I could feel the surge of energy of him pulling my energy to be able to surge and keep going and keep hanging on. And I said to him when I was there after she left, I said, Dad, she's coming back. And when she comes back, I want you to go with her. And he looked at me really funny that it was like, well, you're right here and I want to be with you. And I said, Dad, I love you. I said, but mom's coming to help you and heal you, and you'll step into that world. And I said, allow yourself to go. When she reaches out to you again, you need to take her hand and go with her. And I said, and I'm going to go home. And gave him a hug, talked to him for a moment. And I said to him, I said, I love you very deeply. And I said, when you go to spirit, I said, when mom comes to get you, I says, let me know. I said, mom will know how to do it. Well, I went home, went to bed, and I meditated and went to sleep. And I woke up at 4:10 in the morning, and he was standing there, and I could smell the coffee we'd been drinking. And I felt a surge of love and energy from him that he understood letting go of the physical world energy and allowing himself to be free on the spirit side. And my mom being a medium, I mean, I'm fourth generation medium on my mom's side of the house, she understood it and she was working with him and working with me too, because I felt my grandmother's energy, my mother's energy. And the expression to me is be able to share with him, and your energy is like a battery and it's keeping him going. The nurse said to me one time when I walked in the room, it was no more than a minute after walking in the room, he would open his eyes and he'd sit up and he'd shove his oxygen mask off and start talking to me. Well, the energy flow was there and the healing was there. And we need to realize whether we're doing it with someone that's passing or whether we're doing it just on an everyday level of healing. We need to be aware of being able to have the open and the closure so we're no longer then drained by what's going on. How many people have you talked to, been close to, and if you're working as a reader or a healer, how many people have you touched in some form? Now, if we left all those doors open, there'd be no energy left for us. And we need to carry that energy within us and let the battery build and recognize the difference between our energy flow going out and God's energy flow going through us. We have any questions about that?
Well, hello, Gregory.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. This is Caroline. I have a question in regards to how do we close? I don't know. Are we closing chakras? Or what do we do to close that door so that energy isn't released or drained?
Well, let's put it this way. When you open the door with prayer and you're intent on sending the healing, now whether it is healing, whether it is a message, whatever it may be in that form, to recognize that when you feel the energy dropping off, it's no longer the peak of energy. As it drops off, just put it in your mind that you're blessing them. And you can imagine a string being cut. You can imagine a channel of energy and it just dissipating. Whatever you would like to use as a symbol of that occurring, you can use.
Okay.
And as you do that, it's really going to make a difference because you're able then to now immediately rebuild your own energy because you no longer have it, leaking out of you, let's say. And you're rebuilding your own energy very quickly. Plus, remember, when you're having God's energy flow through you, you're helping it along with your intent and thought. You're directing things in some ways. We need to step aside and realize when we try to direct it, like some people said to me, they would hear me do a prayer with someone that was passing, and I would say, I would ask for healing. But I put it in a statement of healing here or hereafter. And I never say heal them, they got to be here. I always put it in that position of healing here or hereafter. And when I do that, I've had some people give me some strange remarks on it, because they were praying in a demanding manner. And I was praying and putting it in God's hands. So when we step aside and we realize that it's already in God's hands, we're just setting that intent and thought and flow of energy for them to be better.
Okay, I see. I mean, I was just thinking in terms of, I just was in contact with coworkers today for about 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
When I came home after lunch, I was just completely drained.
Well, you have some people around you that I'm going to put it bluntly and say you have some leeches around you that they survive off of everybody else's energy. And you also have some other people there that went home and had the same experience you had because they were not leeching, they were giving. And sometimes we need to be aware of who the people are that pull from us. And in essence, we're not really giving them permission, but in essence, we're leaving ourselves open. And they can plug into our energy and we can walk away exhausted.
Exactly.
And to
That's
be alert to that, my mother did something at times when she would feel that, and I have to laugh the way she did it because she would sit there no matter what the surroundings would be or the people she'd be with. She'd just very quietly wet her finger and touch her third eye. And that was making a break of energy, electronically making a break of energy that whatever was going on is now broken. It's shorted out.
oh,
And
very much. I'm going to use that now.
she did that all the time. I remember being in restaurants. I remember being at auctions. I remember being in spiritual centers. And I would watch her, and she just very quietly reach up and wet her finger and touch her third eye. And I've also watched reactions from other people that the ones that were being the leeches and they were pulling, they would just snap around and look at her like they didn't know what happened. I've actually seen the reactions with people. So it's pretty amazing how much is going on that not always are we completely aware of. But if we relax and let our attunement be there, we recognize who's who. I'm sure in a conscious level, you're recognizing a few of the people that are leeching energy.
Yeah. I mean, I can hear their names in my head
Mm-hmm.
as if like they're
Wonderful.
knocking on a door trying to suck my,
Mm-hmm.
whether
One.
it's fear or anxiety, or it's just I can hear them. Their name is
Mm-hmm. Good.
come. They and they're standing there, and then I'll do the white circle of energy in the mirrors and send them
Mm-hmm.
away. But I can't help that it makes me angry that they're constantly doing this to me.
Well,
And
not only are they doing that to you, they're doing it to everybody. Anyone that has any vulnerability that they don't have a wall up, they're pulling energy from. I've watched it happen in a circle, a group of people. I had one lady one time that she was very negative person, and she was really into some dark energy. And she came to the circle, and it was a public circle, so I wasn't going to refuse her being there. But I didn't like her energy when she walked through the door, and I could feel it like a vacuum of her pulling energy. So when everyone was sitting down, I took and I had a number of people, probably about 30 people there. So what I did is I moved a couple people around that were incredibly positive energies, and I put one on each side of her. And when I put one on each side of her, nobody knew what was really going on, but I put one on each side of her, and I created in my mind a bubble that she'd be in. And she fidgeted the whole time in the circle and complained how negative it was. And she left.
Okay, I'm gonna give
And, I recognized the energy when she walked through the door. And she was there to take and pull on everything and everybody she possibly could. And I shut her down and I focused on the two people that I knew were really super positive people. I put one on each side of her, and then I created the bubble. And she was in a bubble, completely separate from the circle, completely separate from the energy of the circle. And she was having fits. She couldn't feel anything. She couldn't sense anything. She couldn't give a message, nothing. She was shut down.
okay.
So be aware that once you recognize those energies that are leaching, we can just surround them in light, or like you're saying, use the mirror. You can surround them in light. And with me, I've done this so long in my life that I recognize it in circles where I can work with the energy and separate some energies at times and not let them influence everyone else there.
Okay.
Because I
Thank
had a lady walk up to me after the circle and she said to me, she goes, I had the funniest feeling about that woman. I didn't like even thinking that I had to sit beside her and hold her hand. And it was so obvious to her that she felt it. Now, she wasn't a medium per se, but she understood that she didn't want to be close to this lady at all. Now, she wasn't sitting near her, but I mean, she felt that energy about her. So I worked with her and confirmed with her the idea of what was really going on. And she went, oh my God, that's why she was sitting there fidgeting. And she kept wanting to say something and she couldn't. And I said, spirit shut her down.
Good, good.
There's
Thank you very
nothing,
much. Yes.
there's nothing more powerful than God's energy done in the right way for the right reasons for the right outcome.
All right. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question here? I don't see any hands, and you haven't got it on the computer? No? Okay. Well, it's a nice energy to see all your faces, and it's certainly a good energy for everyone. How many here?
Patty has her hand up.
All right.
Okay, let me try it. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a question about dreams. I never had nightmares before, but all of a sudden I'm having really weird nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a sign? I mean, because I never had them before, is that a sign that
Well,
I should?
I feel there's a buildup of energy around you that has happened. It's not necessarily you directly, but it's people around you pulling on you. And have you found recently in the dreams that you felt attacked? Someone was attacking you?
Yes, I've had German Shepherd attacked me with a pack behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Today I took a nap and I was shot in the neck and I had to flee the first dream into the woods.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
terrified by all these, and I'm wondering if other mediums that's on this has had anything like that.
Well, I feel every one of us have had something that you would consider that type of energy, but I feel an energy with you that you're opening yourself up to some people on the earth plane in the conscious level. You're opening yourself up to some people that are jealous of you and envious in a way, and they want to pull energy from you if they can. And I feel that, remember, that world and this world is just a tiny thin veil between. And if they're doing it on a conscious level, they could be doing it on a subconscious level or what would be a dream level, you'd be recognizing it occurring, but it may come in symbols and it may not be the idea of the person, but yet you would pick up on the energy and negativity.
It'd be a person on this level.
Yes,
That's,
that would be the link of energy, and the dreams would be in a symbol form.
I see.
And remember a dream where you were falling?
Yes,
And remember when you were falling, then you woke up?
yes.
You were escaping what was going on in the dream.
Okay.
When we have the feeling of falling, we're coming back to our body. And you were out of the body, you were traveling astrally, and you were experiencing the dream, and you were literally experiencing it. You were there experiencing it. And your ability to escape it, the feeling of falling would be come back into the body, come back into the conscious physical body.
Mhm.
Alexa, turn on Tiffany.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Someone else has a question? Hi, Carol.
Hi, Reverend. Good to see you again.
Yes, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
You have helped me with so many things and figuring so much out. And I meditated after speaking with you the last time because my partner has been separated from me in Canada because he couldn't get here. Just came to the States.
Yes.
And you know, we're reacquainting after a year. I had discussed with you that my husband, who is on the other side, told me that that there was somebody that I would be meeting him, that he also had his loss. And I saw him in my dreams. And the time you told me, yes, that was very true. And so my husband, I see him all of the time smiling. He's very happy about that. My partner has to go back to Canada soon because of all the situations. He's getting his vaccine here. And I would just like to know if you feel that we will be together and together more permanently in this life.
Yes, I feel you will be, and I feel the energy there emotionally is healing, and him going back is a good thing because I see him getting a lot more accomplished over there than he needed to, that was sort of left hanging. And I could see him working on cleaning everything up to get it really in the order he wants it in, so he can come back and be here. And there's something about a passport or paperwork that he still has to fulfill.
Yes, indeed. And he's a physician. So there's a lot of things that are, that have to be put together and finished and so forth.
Well, they were showing me a lot of paperwork energy. Some of it was legal, some of it was licensure. There's a bunch of things going on with that. But I see him being able to accomplish that and get it done. But I see him having to do some things on that side of the border. So then he's prepared to do things on this side of the border when he gets back over here.
Okay. And does it look as though we will be together?
I feel good about that there. That's not a problem. I also feel an energy there that your husband in spirit supporting you.
Absolutely.
And I feel the love and support there that he's there for you in a really good way.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
You, Reverend. Thank you.
God bless.
God bless you. Thank you.
Anyone else have a question? Hi, Bonnie.
Okay. Hello.
Hi.
Why is it doing that? Oh. Okay. Question.
Okay, your speaker is bouncing around. Turn your volume down a little bit. Are you there? You muted.
Oh.
There we go.
You can't do it because of the. Oh, maybe go in another room. Oh, but I turned this off. Walking home.
Listen, there's more than one person in the room with you. It has to be completely quiet, and you're the only one talking.
Okay, good. I don't.
I don't know why it's doing this.
Okay, what's your question?
Um, maybe I'll have to wait because I can't get rid of this echo.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and ask the question.
Well, I run an Airbnb and I had some people come through and he said that he bought a house and it was demonically possessed. And I wondered do you believe in demonic possession or do you think it could be mental illness?
I really feel mental illness more than anything demonic, and the energy I feel there. Who was claiming this anyhow?
It was a young guy and his girlfriend. They bought this house and they said they had to get out of it because it made him possessed and he would act out funny, his behavior and whatnot. So they got out of the house.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think there's some unstableness going on there that they're having a difficulty of their own. And I feel that could be enhanced by some energies there in the home, but I don't really feel anything demonic in the home. And I feel the energy with the home is something that I would go through and do a little cleansing, and I would do a little blessing and cleansing, and you'll be fine.
Okay.
Now, you
Well, I
purchased
can
the home?
relay that, but he was so adamant about him being possessed.
Mm-hmm.
I never ran into anybody like that before.
Now, whose home is this?
It was his home.
Mm-hmm. Now, whose home is it
He had been
now?
hit by a truck, believe it or not, and won a settlement and bought this house.
Yeah.
And they said the house was really dark.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I don't
I
know what
think
to think.
there's, I'll say it this way, there's other issues going on there that they may or may not realize, and I don't feel there's anything you can do about it. Now, they're selling the home,
Yeah.
and you were thinking of purchasing it?
Oh, God, no. No.
Well,
I just wondered if demonic possession is real or is it mental illness?
well, I think there's a lot of illness in the people in the living at times, and this is where they're carrying it over and blaming outside themselves. And I don't feel the negativity is really all what you could term spirit or demonic. I don't sense that. I sense an energy there that there's been some problems there with the ones in the living.
Okay, so you think it's more mental illness?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's more problems with the people in the living.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
God bless you. You have any other questions here? Hi, Carolyn. Caroline.
Hi again. This is a very simple question, and I had a dream 2 nights ago, and I'd have to say this is probably the first time I dreamt of an owl. Okay, and they have here in Las Vegas, and somebody, and they're very beautiful creatures, but this owl was just flying up, and then it stopped in the dream, and it was just flapping its wings every which way to get my attention. And I looked over at it and I'm like, oh, there's an owl. And I didn't know, I wanted this to be like a, what do you call them? Animal spirit token,
Yeah.
totem or something. But I not exactly sure if there's like a hidden meaning in that, but I think maybe there was, maybe I'm supposed to.
Well, that could be an animal totem for you, and the owl would be the symbol of wisdom. And flapping its wings, in an aggressive manner would be gaining your attention. And remember, they have an incredible night vision, and they can see in the night better than most animals can. And it's something there that there's something been going on around you that you weren't aware of, and that you needed to be guided, and they wanted to help you see what's happening. And the flapping of the wings was to gain your attention and focus on the higher energy and focus spiritually on the higher energy. And that way, as you focus on the higher energy, the wisdom will come to you as to what they're meaning in that guidance and what message they're giving you.
Oh, very good. Thank you. I just was like, okay, well, I knew it was wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know if the owl was asking me to be wise. And I'm like, well, I try to be wise, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people just upset me, but I can understand the focus on the higher energy.
Well, think about it this way. You at times can be diverted in your thinking because when too many events are occurring around you, there's times you're flipping from one to the other, trying to focus on them to come up with a guidance or an answer. And I want to say, when the owl's doing that, it was forcing you to be just focused on the owl and not focused on anything else.
To be present.
Yes. So it was bringing you to a higher energy and helping you see where at this point it had been a darkness because an awareness level you weren't picking up on it, you weren't aware of it. And here the owl was gaining your attention. And remember, the visual of an owl's, they can see at night. I mean, they can fly through trees and branches and everything at night. So it's something that we couldn't do it, but certainly they can. So they're asking you to be at the higher level, and they'll give you the vision of understanding what to see and what the answers really are and the guidance would really be.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm so glad I had that dream. Thank you.
You're welcome. God bless you. Any other questions we have here? No questions? Hi, Patty.
I unmuted. There. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. My nightmares, going back to like her dream was really interesting, but my nightmares only started the last 3 when I started dating
Mm-hmm.
somebody. And I'm wondering if it was maybe warning me, or I'm just afraid, but yet I don't want to be afraid that I can't go on, you know.
Well, let's put it in this term. What was it in the nightmare that occurred so we can really see what happened?
Well, my first date, he came to pick me up. Well, the night before or 2 nights before that, I was in the car in the passenger side of this car, and for some reason I had to flee, and I was fleeing through the woods
Mm-hmm.
to get away.
Yeah.
And it seemed like it was right around that time. And then
Mm-hmm.
another time it was dogs, and it was a certain dog, a German Shepherd, that was ready to attack me.
Mm-hmm.
And today, this has only been in a span of a little over a month. And today it was a gunshot. Somebody came into the house.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's say it this way. When you started to see this person or communicate with them, I feel there was a warning you had that made you question whether you should or you shouldn't.
Guess that it seems okay now, I
Mm-hmm.
believe.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to fear something and walk away from something that's right.
Well, I feel an energy with you, dear, that you're not walking away from anything that would be wrong, because there's a part of you looking at your life and you're wanting to make things better, and you're seeing things that I would term potential and what you'd want the potential to reach and how much you'd like to see it accomplished. And would you recognize at this moment that this person is not at the level that you really feel should be, in a sense of you being committed to them?
Maybe that's what the warning is.
Well, I feel the warning is part of that because I feel that you're experiencing, do I trust and just try to make everything better? Or do I look at it and say, wait a minute, is this realistically working in a really common sense way, conscious way that's really, really good? Or is it something that they're living their life in a way of presentation at the moment, and they're convincing me of what's presented, but are they really going to live up to it?
I see.
Because I see you questioning things in a sense, are they living up to what they present? That makes sense?
That makes sense. Yeah.
And I feel an energy with you that you have a tendency of overlooking a lot to just try to make things better. And that's a
Mhm.
wonderful trait there. But I'm seeing you looking at the idea of love relationship and commitments of what you want in your life. And I'm seeing you being more observant. And it isn't the idea that you're going to explode and walk away or something, but I'm seeing you being really more observant of what am I really feeling. And I'm not talking the emotional care about somebody, but I'm talking what am I feeling from spirit? What is spirit guiding me in? And what am I recognizing spirit's giving me as guidance and an answer?
So just keep on with an open eye.
Yeah, a very open
Yes.
eye, dear. And I think it's very positive for you to be there in that manner. And I feel you already had been through a situation where what they had presented to you was presentation in convincing you of what you thought was all right. And then you figured out that they came nowhere near living up to what they had presented. That already happened?
That already happened a couple times.
Yes. That's the lesson you're learning is that you're looking at it and learning to follow the intuitive and not just the analytical, not just accept at face value what someone presents, but what's the next layer back? It's almost like pulling a curtain on a stage and saying, what's behind this? And it could be wonderful. It could be very good, but pull the curtain and have a good look at what's really there. And that's what I'm seeing you looking at now in a way of viewing relationships. That could be a love relationship, that could be friendships, that could even be family. And you're pulling the curtain and you're looking at things behind that intuitively.
Yes. So just know the nightmares are just to be careful.
They're warning you to be careful and they're presenting to you that there's something obviously not in order and you're needing to check that out as to what you're feeling about that.
Okay.
Because see, when they can't get through to us when we're consciously awake, and give us the guidance and we respond to it, they'll bring it to us in a dream form.
Okay.
All
Thank you,
right.
Greg.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. God bless you.
You too.
Thank you. Denise?
Hi, Greg.
Hi.
Thanks for taking my question. I have two quickies for you. Question number one is, I've heard you say a couple of times that in about a year and a quarter, you feel you have a feeling of depression, financial depression.
Yeah.
And my question is, how long do you think that'll last?
I get a feeling of it lasting. Now, I'm going to say it the way I feel it. Once it starts, I would say at least a 2-year time span of it being pretty heavy for people that they're going to have to realize they've got to revamp what they do and how they do. And I would say probably things coming back to normal and functioning better in about a 3-year time span of it working really well then. But there's a variable in there as to how quickly it would be a depression energy because there's a lot of people live their lives in denial anyhow.
Okay. So you're saying what people would not recognize it as a depression?
Some people don't recognize, well, for example, I'll just say it this way. How many people in the world recognize that our economy has been horrible, but yet the president, the past president, and other people have presented that it's wonderful and our economy is great? Well, if our economy was great, we wouldn't have the problems we're having. And
Right.
I feel the energy around that they really worked on the presentation and made sure everyone would believe what they want them to believe, which then all the big boys behind the scenes that know how to manipulate and can manipulate billions of dollars, they're going to make out on it because they'll crash the market and the market will go under for a while. And there's a whole bunch of people going to lose their shirts because they're thinking that it's look how great this is. We're all doing wonderful. Well, I don't believe we're doing wonderful at all. And I don't believe we've been going through this past presidency of everything being wonderful at all either. I mean, yes, there's some positive things he did, but there's some things there that you can't take and build up debt the way they were piling up debt, but letting on that our economy is wonderful.
Yeah.
And then we had all the COVID hit, and that certainly took a toll on everybody. And we've lost so many people to spirit. And we also have many more that have illness or been ill. I've worked with many people reading for them that have had COVID, survived COVID, and now they're having all kinds of problems. They're having kidney failures, they're having all kinds of things happening that they don't really know about. And they're beginning to connect a lot of this to the COVID, that it attacks parts of the body that they don't realize, or you don't realize until you're really sick. And the COVID supposedly may be left, but yet the side effects of what occurred by having COVID is really unpredictable in my mind.
Okay. All right. I understand. Do you want me to ask my second question, or do you want to wait till
Sure.
next time?
No,
Okay,
go
here's
ahead.
here's my second question. For a long time, I don't remember how long, I have had words down, I call it words being downloaded to me. So I get
Mhm.
them here in the side of my head, in front of my ear, right here.
Mhm.
I never really thought twice about this, let alone tried to name it. But somebody said to me recently, oh, that's clairaudience. So my
Mhm.
question is, really? And if it is, how can I develop it?
Well, in a meditative way, if you have access to sitting in a good spiritualist circle and a meditative group, I think you would really be helped by that, because it's sitting with a group of people that you can share these energies with, and they're sharing with you. And, I've normally done a development circle at Lilydale, and we'd have people that had never given messages. And here they are giving messages and freaking themselves out a bit with the accuracy of what was given to a complete stranger. So when you're hearing it, just relax and send out the thought to them. Thank you so much for coming. Please share with me something that's meaningful for the person we're talking to.
Hmm.
And put out that intent and energy that you're doing that, but always ask permission to work with the person. And as you do that, if you find a group around you now, where do you live at now?
Tampa.
I would think there's a couple spiritualist churches around there somewhere. I don't know any names at the moment, but if you were to check that out, I think you'd enjoy sitting in a circle. Now, mind you, I'll say it very bluntly. There's some people in circles at times that want to be, and they're always going to want to be. And there can be a jealousy, and there can be different things like that because you pick up something they don't. But I feel there's some people in a circle that I know you'd enjoy. And I feel that once you find them, I could see them working with you a bit on the idea of what you're feeling, what you're sensing. And the clarity then comes in that when you're feeling it, you're going to have that dividing line of knowing, I'm not thinking it, I'm really feeling it. And that's
Yeah,
really the biggest hurdle, is to get beyond the conscious part that says, am I thinking this?
but this is not a voice. And somehow I thought that if it were clairaudience, it would be a voice.
Well, it is in your head, but it's not something you're hearing in your ear.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. Spirit doesn't have a voice box, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just somehow thought it would be like it would sound more like a voice than the words. But
Well,
okay.
it's like a mental telepathy, but you're in
Yes.
essence, you would recognize it as hearing it. And
Okay.
that's what I do. I recognize hearing it. And there's times he'll bring through names, he'll bring through different information, it'll be verbal. There's other times I just get the words and the words come to me, and I catch myself being the third person, and I'm witnessing it happening, and I'm witnessing me saying things, and I'm not aware of it in a conscious level. It's just, here's the words, here's the sharing of that energy.
Okay. So
Okay.
if you're saying to me, I'm hearing your mother say whatever,
Yeah.
you're getting the words, and then the idea of connecting it with my mother is almost like a separate activity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
That
You're
helps.
welcome. You're welcome.
Mhm.
Any other questions? All righty. I think we're pretty close to an hour here, and I enjoy seeing everyone's faces, and I'm glad everyone came on, and we'll have a good time next class. To go to the website if you want to know when Lily Dell's opening, and the hotel will be, phones will be busy for booking, a lot of things going on. So if you want to check that out, it'll work out wonderfully, and I look forward to seeing